Okay, you guys, let's do this. It's going to be so professional. Like, so professional. Here we go. Welcome to the Live Support Podcast with your hosts, Michele VanDusen and June Colson, a couple of clean comedians who support each other and others through comedy's wacky and winding roads. I hope you're ready. Get set. Let's go. Since podcasts have a catchy tune, we wrote this song for Michele and June. Clean comedians are best friends too. Oh, it's so good. And you never know what they'll say or do. Here we go, sing with me on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. We'll have a ball, with June, who's really tall. They have fun, interviewing comedians on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. Now they have their catchy tune. If Michele jumps high, she's eye to eye with June. Let's be clear, June's tall and Michelle's real short. And now it's time to start Live Support.
The Live Support Podcast is brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network.
Welcome to the award-winning Live Support Podcast. I'm your host, June Colson, here with Michele with one L, Tricia's sister, Rhonda Colson, Corey's friend. Do not call me Shelly, Michele VanDusen. Michele, we're here. How you doing, sis?
Good. I am a little cold. Okay. I'm very cold. I don't know if we had a cold front come in, whatever. Our air conditioner is like, my husband has like on an automatic kind of a thing. It'll kick on at a certain temperature. Like he's got this range.
Auto, AUTO. Most everybody's has it on there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It sounds newfangled to you, though. Is this new technology, Michele?
Yes, it is. Well, okay. It's not the little dial thingy now. Now you gotta like push buttons. Anyway, I didn't know this, but the other day I'm like, it's really cold in here in our house. Why is it so cold? He was like, oh, well, I turned it off. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I didn't want it to kick on and warm the house or, cool the house down or whatever when it's going to be freezing. I'm like, why didn't you just put the heat on? It just didn't make any sense. He's like, But then if I put the heat on, then, tomorrow when the weather changes, we'll have to, go back to air conditioning. I'm like, what? He's like, we're saving money. I'm like, okay, but in the meantime, I'm freezing.
Yeah. Speaking of not noticing something, in the top corner, you have a StreamYard, like a QR code. So what is that?
Okay, so that's a new thing. I thought I would try it for this episode. If you take your phone and hold it up there, and that should take you to our podcast where you can listen to it.
But we haven't tested it, and you didn't tell me it was going to be up there. So we don't even really know, honestly. But I'm so distracted right now of how bright the lipstick color is that I put on. It was dark in my bathroom. I didn't turn the light on, and I was hurrying to get in here. And now I feel like it's just getting brighter and brighter and brighter. It's so distracting. So you could go on, if you're listening to us, you could go on to YouTube and you can see my freaky lipstick and Michelle's new QR code. So you know what? Let me try scanning it right now while it's on there.
Yeah.
And it takes you to where, to what streaming, or
it should. So because we're watching it right now, it should take you to our Audible where you can just listen to us.
Shut the front door. It does. Right now I see Season 6, Episode 12, with one of the best memes I think I've ever made. If you guys missed that, go and look at Season 6, Episode 12. Michele is a little investigator, and I just put her face on the body of some little cartoon, and very poorly. It's intentionally bad photoshopping. And the reply I got back from you, we'll see if it'll show up on there. The reply I got back from you was, really, June? Why the ears have to be that big? Yeah. I happen to be in a ball gown with my hair all done. So there's that. There's that. It was the mystery episode.
Yeah, so it works, and that way, because what I'm hoping, if anyone is out there listening, watching this right now, please go to listen especially if you're from Alaska or if you have any family members in Alaska, have them listen one time. I need somebody from Alaska, because then that way we could say that Left Sport has been heard in all of America.
So that's our very last place is Alaska.
Yes.
This
the
is
frozen
crazy.
frontier.
Listen, I've been to Alaska. I love Alaska. We're planning a trip to go back to Alaska. I need my friends in Alaska. The only two people I know is a girl named Angie and a guy named Brad. And I don't know if they would actually admit to anyone that they actually know me. So, you know what? I'm honestly going to message Angie because she is a stand-up comedian and she lives in Alaska. And I'm going to message her today and I'm going to say, you know what would be the best Christmas gift ever is if you would listen to one. Do you know, she didn't even have to listen if she would just play it in the background. But does it have to be on Captivate for you to see that that's where it's been listened to? Yes. Like it has to be. Right. But on Captivate, though, does it capture everything? Like if they're listening on Spotify or iTunes or wherever those platforms are, it picks it all up?
Yes, it does. Sweet. So we're heard worldwide. We have listeners all over the world, except the only continent that we are not heard on, or no one's tuned in, is Antarctica. So
that's going to be a tough one.
Because the scientists only go there so many times, and I'm pretty sure we're not.
Well, that's where the aliens are too. So they're probably listening. Yeah. They're probably listening. If you listen to any of the conspiracy theory, that's where they have the underground sound machines that it's going to explode the whole world, or where all the aliens are hiding in the ice that are going to be released in the sky to. I don't know. Don't scroll through TikTok ever.
Like I don't ever recall reading that in the book of Revelation. So what?
Well,
I mean, I've heard fire, but
yes,
ice. Interesting.
Yeah. So who knows? There's a lot of people with a lot of theories, but Antarctica is the middle of a lot of theories, and so we would love for one scientist or alien that lives there to listen to our podcast. We would totally appreciate it. And Michelle, we are ready for Christmas. You have the Santa Claus.
Yes, I have my first Christmas decoration ready to go. I'll have to get rid of I'll have to, put away my flowers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in fact, speaking of Christmas, my husband has already purchased my Christmas gift.
Okay.
The tuxedo cat. It's a Lego tuxedo cat. But the thing is,
it's just a black and white cat. It's not wearing a tuxedo, is it?
Right. That's what they call these kind of cats. If they're
false advertising. There's no bow tie. There's no we just had a wedding where everyone had to wear a tuxedo. That's not a tuxedo.
But you're not cats. Anyway, the point is, he doesn't know that he got that already for me. So don't tell him if
that's my favorite kind of Christmas gift.
Just anyway, I think these are tuxedo penguins, right? Or just emperor penguins. What are they? Just a penguin. Anyway.
They're Legos. They're not real. I don't know what they
I think if my husband was really going to get me like the gift of all gifts, he would either have gotten me like the Eiffel Tower or Titanic. One of those two things would have been,
And I thought you were a Christian. Have you not seen the Bible blocks? Have you seen the Bible blocks?
Oh, I so want them, but they're not out yet. You can pre-order the Bible bricks.
Oh, Bible brick. I don't know. I mean, they're
Bible
not
bricks.
It's okay.
And it's the tabernacle set. That's the first one that they're doing. So if anybody wants to, they can Venmo me or just send it to me. And there you go. Boom. I'd be fine with it. I'm okay with it. You know how like there's I was thinking about this the other day. When you're doing comedy in clubs, right? And there's comedians up on the stage, and then someone in the audience, typically buys them a drink or that kind of a thing. I don't want people buying me drinks. I'd be like, could I have a plate of nachos? Or could I have some ho-hos or ding-dongs? Now I'll be like, you know what? Anybody want to just go ahead and bring me a Lego set? I'm cool with that. I would not turn that down. So
I was at a thrift store the other day, and one of the volunteers came through, and they were like, "Did you find them?" And she goes, "Yeah, we got more in today." and it was the Legos. And anything Legos, you could tell that this girl who worked there, like you'll never get Legos at that thrift store because this girl who works there, the second they came in, she was snatching them up. If they put them out on the floor, she was going and grabbing them and getting that. And I say good on you. I mean, if you're working at a thrift store, that's one of the perks is you get to see the stuff before anybody else does. And so, none of my business.
Which is interesting that people would donate Legos to a thrift store because you can actually bring them like back to Lego or something, and they have a recycling program of some sort. You'd have to Google it and find out all the info.
Well, but I think like what happened for me is my boys were never super into Legos, but every little boy likes to play with the bricks at some certain point. And so one of the seamstress that worked for our company, her son loved Legos, and they had totes and boxes of just a ton of loose Legos. And so when she started working for us, her son was in his 20s, and she goes, "Oh, do you think the boys would like these Legos?" So she brought those to us, and
where are they now?
The boys played with them forever and ever. And then at some point, somebody that I knew, their kid was into Legos. Or no, actually, I think I gave some to one of my friends who had a kiddo who liked Legos, and the other I brought to the school with me and donated them to the SPED department, the special education department. And because we had a lot of kids who really loved to just sit and play with the Lego bricks and stuff. So I sent those there. But anyway, so you don't know what's going on behind the scenes at the thrift store.
Right.
Today we're going to talk about what's going on behind the scenes in comedy that you might not know about, right? So the title today, Michelle, of this episode is what?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, The Show Must Go On.
There you go. We planned ahead. We actually planned ahead. As much rambling as we do, we actually have plans when we come into this. So, hang with us. So today we're going to talk about The Show Must Go On. And Michelle and I were talking today that a lot of times the audience doesn't know, or other comics don't know exactly what's going on in the lives of the person who's on stage. We work in an industry where it's all about social media and clicks and likes and, and try to get your name out there. And the more followers you have, the more opportunity, that it equals to, because a lot of clubs and places and spaces, they want to book people who they feel like are going to bring ticket sales in because people just know you from your social media. So it's a very public, for a lot of people, very public. People are on there all the time, sharing about their life. But much like everybody else, what you see on social media isn't always what's going on behind the scenes with the stand-up comedians. So today we're talking about The Show Must Go On, and I'm going to share a little bit about maybe some friends that we have, not their personal stories, but like the reality is right now we have one friend who has a father who is critically ill. And, God may heal, and this person, their dad may live another 15 years. However, there's been a lot of touch and go situations with our friend where it was very doom and gloom. We need a miracle. Miracles happen. And then something else happens, right? And so that comedian just the other day was about to go on stage and gets the call of, hey, something's not good. And she still has to perform. We have another comedian friend who recently, I'm not sure if I remember the story correctly, if she had gone on stage or she had just come off. Either way, she was on tour and they get the call that her husband passed. And within 2 weeks, she was back out there doing shows because shows pay the bills. And especially after a spouse passes away, who knows what the financial need might be. I don't know her personal story or her personal finances when it comes to that. But the reality is the show must go on. And a lot of people are watching us on social media, and they have no idea the true, deep, private things that we're dealing with before we go on stage. And we have to focus. We got to be funny. We have to be present. And we have to be patient and kind with people. in the lobby after who want to take pictures and talk and even especially when you've had a bad set and you're going through some rough times and you're standing out there as, people come through when you just want to crawl inside your coat or, disappear in the green room and just go home. And so with that being said, like Michelle, has there been a time where you were really going through a struggle that you would want to share or surface share that even though all that was going on, the show still went on for you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because when my mom was sick, there were so many shows that were happening, and it was always that touch and go, and so you never knew, am I going to get the call?
Mhm.
Is the call going to happen? Is it tonight? Is it, and so that already gives you kind of an apprehension knowing something's happening. And so that was always rough, just not knowing what was happening because I don't live anywhere near my family and stuff. But one of the things that happened after she died, like within a couple of weeks, I had to do a Mother's Day event. And
Ooh, yeah.
that was a tough one.
Hmm.
But it was definitely, I would do that again for sure. Because it's one of those things like when something happens and then you have an event coming up, you can get gun shy about what's the next thing. Because there was other things, like I had some stuff happening and then my mom got sick, or she was going to have a heart surgery, or because she had a lot of heart issues, which anyway, so I had all these things lined up that I was going to be doing. I had this after school comedy club that I was doing with like 3 different schools, but then this happened, and so I canceled, and I had to cancel all of basically my income for the next 3 months.
Hmm.
And it was just on that, um if something happens and I need to be there. So it wasn't even, hey, come up here, spend time with us. It wasn't even that. It was just the thought of, in case I have to be there. So I had to cancel all this stuff that was going to be happening. So part of me is like, man, life happens, work happens. I
Yeah.
don't think I want to cancel anything anymore from my own perspective for a situation, because I can't help, like, so like my dad's on hospice right now, right?
Right.
And so I could have canceled things and just gone up there and just been with him, be with him. But I don't know how long hospice is going to take. I don't know some people have lived 8 months on hospice.
Right.
So if I stop everything that I'm doing on just the potential of something happening,
Mm.
then it just hurts me, and it's there is no benefit in that. Because he's in a place, he's got great care. What am I going to do? Just
Yeah.
sit there? I
Yeah.
can't help. Um, you know, so it's like sometimes it's hard when you have things happening and you still have to then put on a great face for somebody else. But
Yeah.
then there's also those times when you do step on stage. I know that there's the ability and the grace to be able to chunk it aside for a minute,
Yeah.
do this, be here for this moment, and then pick that back up again. And
Mhm.
it's when you can't move this aside, when it's right here, it's not even officially grief yet, but it's trauma in that
Right.
sense, or the potential of trauma, and it's right here in your face, and then you can't see anything, and then you're no good for anybody. But if you can take it and set it aside, then you can take care of what's in front of you, and then you can go back and work through all the other things. Anyway, all that to say, I think if there was Legos in every green room,
Yes.
comedians would be way more relaxed before stepping up there. That's it. That's okay.
Be good therapy. No, that is
Yeah.
wild that, like, Which that was the situation. If you're doing a Mother's Day event, you could be honest with that crowd and say, you know, my mom just passed away recently. And share that, especially if it was a church environment. But, you know, if that had been a club show, you know, you wouldn't have been able to just go and, you know, and just be honest about it and share with the people. Or you could maybe, but it probably wouldn't be as successful of a set, because it could bring the room down if you go up there and you're wounded and you're broken for your mom. And, you know, people paid, you know, a good ticket price to come to the club to laugh and not just sit and feel bad. And, you know, because someone just lost their parent. And so, especially like in a club setting, people just have to suck it up and, you know, move on. But like for you, it's a very ironic situation to go to a Mother's Day event right after your mother's passed away. My mom, when she died, I had 6 comics coming in to town 2 weeks later. And then I was hosting the CCA for 3 days. And so I went straight from like burying my mom to getting the house clean and prepared for company to come. And of course, all the comics were like, we can cancel this. The church that we were doing a show at, they were more than fine to cancel if we needed to. But I'm like, no, you know, we're going to keep moving. And I definitely struggled. I got through it. And I don't know how comedians who don't have a relationship with Christ do it. I've lived life without Christ and did it on my own terms and plowed my way through tough situations without him. And I know that I never, ever, ever want to go through that anything without him again, because he truly does give you the strength to just pull it together, go walk in your gift, and then he catches you when you collapse when it's done. And that's really what happened for me. Mom died. It was comfort for me to have my friends in my home and my hometown. Then went on to CCA with even more of my friends. You know, got to have a true hug from you.
Did.
Yeah, like, well, Michele showed up for the funeral and didn't know how much she was going to be laughing at my father because he's an absolute goob. And my family actually deal with crisis with humor, inappropriate, dark humor. And some people don't get it, and some people are offended by it. But we don't care. We're not some people like that's just how we cope. But the reality is that when you go to a comedy show, you don't know what that comedian has dealt with before they got there that day, how hard they're trying to make sure that you have a good experience while maybe swallowing down some real pain that they're going through. You know, I haven't talked about this a lot on the show because it is, you know, personal. But I will say that, you know, there was a time period where my husband and I separated, literally for months, for 6 months. And it was very difficult. And, you know, we were, you know, that was the end. That was the end of the marriage, and just kind of figuring out how to move on and deal with the next chapter. If you know me, you know that I'm still married to my husband. So God definitely did a work and did some amazing and redeeming things. And I'm literally happier now than I've ever been in my life. But I had a lot of people as everything was unfolding. And as I moved out and moved into my own home and those type of things, I had a lot of people go, well, are you going to cancel your shows? And, you know, there was never a time in my mind that I thought, oh, I'm going to have to cancel shows. I was probably more brave, more bold, and had less anxiety going on stage because I have a lot of stage anxiety. I probably had less anxiety because my world had fallen apart. There was so much chaos that going on stage for me was a complete escape from it all. Like when you're on stage, you're so focused on your material and the audience and the room and you know how people are receiving you, and if you need to shift gears and those kind of things, that for me, whether it was a 10-minute set or a half an hour set or whatever, that was 30 minutes I didn't have to think about the pain that I was going through. So it was almost therapy for me. And also I was just so bold because it was like, I just went up with no, is it inhibitions? Is that what is that the word?
Mhm.
I didn't
Yeah.
care. I'm like, I don't care. My world's falling apart. If the audience doesn't laugh at me, they don't laugh at me. I'm going to give it the best that I got. And I did my jokes and I was just like, whatever happens, happens. And that was actually a good thing for me because all that anxiety that I had before, it was like an equalizer of where it was like, oh, this is the fun stuff. Going out here is the fun stuff. I've got to stop making it so hard on myself and so complicated. And it was a relief to just be on stage,
Yeah.
think about nothing else.
Wow.
What I love to do, which is comedy. So I didn't cancel shows. Now it was hard. It was hard to be focused. It was hard to be connected to the other comics in the green room and those kind of things because I really just kind of wanted to come in, do my thing and go because I didn't want to be asked questions. I didn't want to get emotional. I just wanted to be professional and do my job and get out of there while I had the strength to stay professional. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So, when you were going through that and you were being, the brave comedian, that'll be the title of your
Mhm.
next book, Brave Comic. Did you come up with new material about that situation during that time frame?
Well, I came up with material I couldn't use because I was really starting to think about divorce material and like if I ever
Mhm.
had to date again, which I never planned on ever dating again. Um, and like living alone for the first time in however long. And, there was a lot of stuff, but like, my family was really going through it.
Mhm.
And so normally in tragedy, I'm making jokes. I was making jokes behind the scenes with my friends and stuff and with my family to kind of cope with the pain. But it
Mhm.
wasn't one of those that I would have ever done publicly out of respect to my kids and my husband, even if we didn't reconcile, if God didn't work the way that he did in our lives, I still
Mhm.
didn't want to disrespect my husband. I didn't want that there was no need for that and no good in that. So I wrote
Yeah.
the jokes that I never told. Um, other than in the circumstances with my friends, as I would just find reasons to laugh about the situation that I was in. And the reality is, I'm not the first person, nor will I be the last person who separates from their spouse or gets a divorce. And it was what had to be done in our relationship at the time. Both of us had some things that we needed to work on and
Mhm.
some growth and maturing and healing that needed to be done personally so that God
Yeah.
could bring us back together to be where we are now.
Yeah.
But some things truly aren't a laughing matter. And I would definitely caution comedians as they're going through stuff. Like to me, it's the Facebook of, it's our
Mhm.
career as a Facebook post. If we're on stage and we're doing all that, you've got some people who it's okay to want to be transparent, let people not pretend to be the pretty perfect people on social media, but it's a
Yeah.
thing where you can't walk back stuff when you
Yeah.
share too much. And as our friend Sarah Smiley says, not everyone has earned your vulnerability.
Mm, that's
And to
good.
go on stage with a bunch of strangers and share a very vulnerable situation that I was in. I think I did one night, one joke when I was just angry and hurting, and I can't walk that back. I can't take it back. And fortunately, it was a crowd of like 15 people in nowhere, Tennessee, who didn't care if I was there and didn't care if I left. So it was just one of those where I
Mhm.
just spewed something. And I'm such a guilty conscience person that it bothers me that I didn't have more self-control
Yeah.
than that. And so yeah, I didn't write a ton of jokes about that. Now I've done some jokes and told some stories about mom when she passed away and
Mhm.
because we did go through a hard time. There was no insurance to pay for her funeral.
Yeah.
My dad showed up with a Ziploc bag of Marlboro Miles and green stamps, made a joke about you guys still accept these, right? Like this is good cash value to pay for her funeral. And we made jokes like even in her room as we waited for the coroner. about how I had decorated, her room at the rehab center. And, but in a grieving situation, you can share those jokes with people, but a lot of times people get put off by like, if that's not the sense of humor that they have, it seems disrespectful to the dead, to my mother.
Yeah.
And my mom laughed at everything.
All right. They're dead. What are they going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. She's somewhere where she could care less about my jokes. She's enjoying her time with Jesus. And
Unless like a joke where it's like Scooby-Doo and now the head comes off, the hood or whatever, like, oh no, they're right back there. It was the twin sister. Oh, sorry.
yeah, that's right. I love Scooby-Doo. So yeah, has there ever been a time though that you did just cancel altogether, have to like cancel a show and say I can't be there?
Yes, I did do that. I was going to be doing shows with it was called the Alive and Well tour, and it was going to be with Dina O'Hara, um, um, Brent Reed, and
Hmm.
Gordon Douglas. And I got sick.
Mm.
And so that one I couldn't do because, you know, I would get there and then possibly get other people very, very sick.
Right.
And then how can you hear a joke when all you hear is
Oh,
so what can't
are
if
you
you
mocking me, Michelle? Are you making fun
no,
of me?
I'm not mocking you. I'm not mocking you. What I'm saying is it would have been a very hard it would have been a very hard show. And then, would I even made the drive there,
Right.
there and back. And it was gonna be several shows in a row,
Yeah.
which I was really looking forward to because one was gonna be at the Cowboy Church and
Oh
some other
yeah.
things so I was really excited about doing this and I'm like, oh, and they have not had that tour in my area since then. I'm like, come on, bring it back.
So the
Anyway,
title of this episode is "The Show Must Go On," and in that situation, it did not. Well, it did. It went on without you.
without
Same
me.
thing
Yeah.
for same thing for me. The only times I've ever canceled is extreme illness. So I got COVID in 2021, and I had a very extreme case of it where I was um, dangerously ill for 19 days. So it
Yeah,
was,
you were.
but I literally even laying in the bed the first few days, I was thinking maybe I could just, maybe I could just get through this. And I ended up reaching out. I think Moody Malavi stepped in, did a show that I was booked for. And then at the time, I think I was supposed to perform at Gutty's for 2 nights. And
Mhm.
so I ended up canceling like 3 or 4 shows during those 19 days. And then this last year, and we talked about it on a previous episode, I ended up in the hospital with infection that had run through my face and through my
Yeah.
throat, and was narrowing my airway to the point of dangerous as far as being able to actually breathe. And so I've canceled for that. I've not canceled for asthma. Thank God. I've never had to cancel for asthma. I generally keep the attacks under control. And what's crazy is that when I go on stage, it's like God just kind of takes over and he fills my lungs with air. And then when I'm done,
Mhm.
within, half an hour or so, it'll ease its way back in. But the physicians also say that, Jesus and adrenaline help me get through those moments.
Yep.
Um, but that's a painful thing to have to tell somebody you can't come to the show,
Yeah.
it's hard.
I've I know I've been a replacement for some comedians that
Yeah.
got sick or injured, that kind of a thing. And then if there was anything that I couldn't do, like I'm trying to think way, way back before it because I think there was one show, but I can't remember all the details around it. But I do know that I found them a replacement before I contacted them and said, I actually can't do it, but so and
Oh,
so
yeah.
can. But I found a replacement for him because I wasn't gonna just leave him high and dry. But I can't remember what the event was or why I couldn't make it. But
Right.
there was something. Now, the other thing too is if you are about to go on stage, and someone is sick and that kind of, I mean, like if I know that I have a show coming up, and something happens, with my dad or whatever, um, I will let my siblings know. Or I will just put my phone on complete silence or airplane mode, because I definitely don't want that call to happen right before I go on
Right.
stage,
Yeah.
because I can't do anything about it. At that point, I can't do anything about it. I can't leave, like
Right.
there's just certain things that I would rather not know until after I'm done with the
Right.
show.
Yeah. If there's honestly nothing you can do about it. Yeah. I hit do not disturb like unknown tour when we do sound check. As soon as sound check is over, I'll let my husband know, hey, we're about to start. I'm hitting do not disturb. I'll be back after the show, and so I do not disturb in airplane mode. One, to stay focused on what I'm about to do, and two, I bring my phone on stage with me, so it keeps it from going off or ringing or making a sound or
Yeah.
whatever. As long as I keep it on that. Now, do you have in your contract? So in my contract, when I send to people and I book with them in my contract, I do have an element in there that discusses if it is too dangerous or unsafe for me to travel to get there, then
Oh,
we will reschedule. So, if it
yeah.
comes, because I had an event one time and we had a major ice storm and I was going up north to do this show.
Ooh.
And I'm like, it's one thing if it was a bunch of snow,
Yeah.
I will plow through it. I plowed through it last year to get to a show, and it was crazy dangerous what I drove through to get there. But ice, I'm not, nobody, I don't care who you are, you can't drive on ice. You just
Yeah.
can't. And a lot of times I'm traveling alone. And so I put like if there's flight delays or dangerous weather, that makes it too dangerous to travel.
Yeah.
And then I also have a clause for accident or injury or illness, and that in good faith, I will attempt to find a comedian
Hmm.
of equal experience
Mhm.
and equal experience and credentials to fill in for me. And so fortunately for us, we have a great network
Yeah.
of comedian friends all over the country. And so it is one of those situations where you said you filled in for somebody else, but I think it's good to have it in your contract that says that. I feel like Stephen Bergazzi, maybe. I feel like I learned that from him, that he shared that with me about having something like that in his
Mhm.
in his contract of just being able to, just be careful. And
Mhm.
especially in this area, Chrissy Conder and
Right.
we're confused for the same comic anyway. And we're both Christians and we both do 100% clean comedy. And so she's somebody, if I book something within driving distance of here, she's somebody that if she's not booked, a lot of times we're booked together. So that's a problem.
Yeah. So you
But
just send your twin.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
go
But
with June the whole time. It's okay.
right. Like I wouldn't even have to tell them it's not me. And we know each other's material so well that I think that we could probably play it off as each other. We've been around. I remember when I first started comedy, hearing some comics talk about that and being able to and watching one of them do somebody else's joke and everybody's laughing. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I can barely remember the 5 minutes I had at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how
Yeah.
do you memorize somebody else's material?
Well,
But it is
my dad, hot dog.
right, right.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I couldn't do your material. I would fall short every time.
Dun-dun-dun. I love it.
You know what
That's
I
good.
want to get for my car? I think would be so much fun. And I've seen these, just because you did the cymbal noise just now,
Yes.
is those little cymbals that you can clip onto the thing that shoots out air at you, the little vent.
Well, we started with you not knowing what auto was on your air conditioning, and now you just have little things in your car that shoot out air at you. The air vents, Michelle.
Yeah, the air vent. But that way, when you listen to music or whatever, you could tap on your thing and then da 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 da, and it's a finger symbol thingy that sits on the air vent. You clip it on there, so as you're driving along, you're listening to music,
Yeah, because
whatever.
people drum on the steering wheel, but now
Yeah.
you got a symbol to pop on. I love it.
Yes, but I wouldn't be doing it to music. I would be telling jokes, and then I would, da da da, I would be doing the
That
rim
would
shot.
be so good. I think you're onto something. That's how many people have like the pet rock people, like that's your pet rock, baby. That's your retirement plan.
They have them out there somewhere. I just need to get one.
Oh, there's actually like the air vent symbols that you can.
Yes. And I would want two of them, because I would want one on the driver's side if I'm driving, but I would at the same time, if I'm a passenger, I want one on the passenger side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You say something funny while he's driving, it would be great.
That makes sense. Well, hey guys, so listen, here's what I want today to leave you with the show must go on. If you are a comedian and you don't know Christ, listen, Michelle and I can both attest to the fact that having a relationship with Jesus Christ gives you a strength that is it's indescribable. And that he can help you not just get through tough times with shows, but he is an amazing friend as well as a savior and a father. And so if you have questions about like where our joy comes from, or what is this relationship, and how do you receive the same thing, man, definitely reach out to us. MichelleVanDusen.org, JuneBugComedy.com. You can email us and reach out. We love to talk about comedy. We love to talk about our friends and our travels, but even more importantly, the most important conversation is a conversation we have with someone who is feeling their heart reaching out towards a relationship with Christ. So we'd love to be able to talk about that. And listen, guys, if you go to a comedy show, know that the comedians on stage, they are human beings who have lives, who have husbands, who have wives, who have children, who have struggles, who have deaths in their family, who have, struggles in their marriages. Like there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and they show up and they go up on stage and they do the best that they can to share a gift that they've been given so that you can let loose and laugh and forget about the things that you're dealing with behind the scenes. So I say have grace, have patience, and show some love to a comic, especially if you see one and you're like, oh, I thought everybody said she was funny or he was funny. You never know. It can be an off night because they can be going through something. So know that, like even today, I was like, I was going to clean up the mess behind me, but I don't even care. This is my life right now, my whole life. This is not even just, if you look at my couch right now, y'all, there's stuff from the wedding. There are books. I started organizing things, stopped organizing things. If you could pan around the whole room, this is the most organized part of my office right now. So you never know. I say that because you never know what's going on behind the scenes or what people are dealing with. And we hope that that the ladies at Laugh Support, we just love you. And if you need prayer or you want to talk, then definitely reach out to us and follow us, please, at the Laugh Support Podcast. We're on Instagram, on YouTube. You can email us at thelaughsup@gmail.com. Again, if you know somebody from Alaska, tell them to just scan this episode. If you're watching, scan the card and let it play in the background so that Michelle can reach her life's goal of Laugh Support, reaching all 50 states in the United States. We're on season 6. Where are you, Alaska? Follow me at June Bug Comedy and Michelle at Michelle's Comedy. She's Michelle with 1 L. Don't forget that.
1 L.
My tip of the day, we'll run through that really quick. My tip of the day is don't sit down. Sometimes it's not comedy tips. Sometimes it's life tips. Let's say you happen to be doing a show in Illinois and the house you're staying on is on a cliff, and you decide you want to sit on the cliff and look over the beautiful view of the of the falling leaves and you're in pajama pants and a sweatshirt, don't sit down. Don't sit down because you may get up with more than you sat down with. Michele, this last week,
I want to know where this story is going to.
And I sat down and I stood up with like 5 briars on my buttocks.
Well, okay, where were you?
Girls, I sat in a patch of them. They were on my socks. They were in my pajama pants. The next day, I took a shower. When I got out of the shower, I used the towel and they were on my towel. I dragged them through the house. Christy Conder ended up with them on her socks and her jeans. So I say, I want to say sit down and enjoy the view, but bring a blanket. At least bring a blanket. That's my tip of the day. It has nothing to do with anything but a stupid thing that I did. But who knows? I may be saving somebody's behind with that tip that I'm sharing today. So with that being said, Michele, do you have a joke of the day? Of the week? It doesn't matter, the joke of the week. Just say it. Let me get through it.
I have a couple of them. Okay, so this is from Daisy, who's in 4th grade. Knock, knock.
Okay, Daisy, who's there?
Dewey.
Dewey who?
Do we need a Thanksgiving break?
Oh, is that a hint that you want to take a break for Thanksgiving for the next week?
That's actually a really good question though. Like, should we have a short break for the holidays? Or should we no, because you have a book coming out, so we have to do another episode.
Well, we'll take a Thanksgiving break. We'll take
a Thanksgiving break.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
All right. Okay.
We'll come back and we all have a book to show them. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, we need to talk about that. Okay, so what do you call a flying printer?
Flying printer. I don't know what.
An inkjet.
Did a child send that joke in?
Yes.
And what was her name?
His name is Everardo.
Everardo?
Yes.
Good joke, Everardo. That's my favorite. Okay, good job. Yes, Michele, if you're making up children's names and these aren't actually from kids,
no, it's really his name.
Jesus knows. And he knows if it was Daisy and Everardo. And if it was, they're amazing comedians. If it was you, Daisy and Everardo are amazing comedians. So
that's right. We'll go with they are great comedians. Of course, you know, this is material from a few years back when Everardo, he was a student at a different, like I've been in several different elementary schools with my comedy club. And so 2 different schools, 2 different students. So yes. So shout out to them if they ever listen to this. Daisy, you know who you are. Everardo, you know, dude. Come on.
All right. Well, thank you guys for that. That's going to be it for this episode of the Laugh Support Podcast. As always, Jesus and Junebug loves you. And Michele, tell them goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Bye-bye.